Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers FNS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers FANS. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been paying attention to the NFL landscape lately, you've probably noticed that the Pittsburgh Steelers are once again in the spotlight, and not just because of their traditional grit or the legendary history that surrounds this franchise. No, this time, it's a mix of excitement, strategic moves, and some intriguing trade rumors that could reshape their offense and maybe even their entire future. And believe me, what's happening right now in Pittsburgh is just the tip of the iceberg, because there's a lot to unpack here, especially when you consider the bigger picture in the AFC North and the NFL as a whole. Let's start with the Steelers' current roster, because it's a squad that's been steadily building itself into a competitive force. They've got a solid quarterback situation with the recent signing of Aaron Rodgers, who, despite being 39, still has a lot to offer. His experience, leadership, and playoff pedigree are invaluable, especially for a team that's been craving that extra edge on offense. But what really has fans buzzing is the potential shakeup around the wide receiver position, particularly in the context of possible trades, and how they might bolster the team's offensive firepower. Now here's where it gets interesting. Imagine, just for a second, what could happen if the Steelers somehow land a player like Terry Mclaurin from the Washington Commanders. That's right, Mclaurin, a veteran receiver who's been remarkably consistent throughout his career, despite the tumultuous quarterback situations Washington has faced. The guy is a true professional, and he's shown he can produce at a high level, especially when the ball is coming his way. But why are we talking about Mclaurin now? Well, because there's a real possibility he could be on the trade block this summer, and the Steelers are a team that could absolutely use his skill set. Let's dig into the details. Mclaurin signed a 3-year, $68, $2 million extension in 2022, which means he's entering the final year of that deal. That often makes players like him more likely to be moved, especially if their team is looking to rebuild or retool. And with the Commanders having a new quarterback in Sam Howell, they might decide to shop Mclaurin for future assets. According to Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox, there are even proposed trade packages floating around that suggest the Steelers could be in the mix. One such package involved Pittsburgh sending a 2026 first-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick to acquire Mclaurin, a bold move, but one that could pay off big time. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, didn't the Steelers just trade away George Pickens to Dallas? Yes, that's true. And it's part of a larger strategy that Steelers management seems to be employing. They've been aggressive this offseason, trading for DK Metcalf, which was a significant move, and also dealing away some draft capital. But here's the thing, adding a player like Mclaurin could be the final piece that pushes their offense into a different stratosphere. Think about it. With Mclaurin on one side and Metcalf on the other, along with Robert Woods and Calvin Austin III, the Steelers could have a formidable receiving core. And when you throw in Pat Freiermuth, their reliable tight end, it becomes a nightmare for defenses. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. Now here's the kicker. Mclaurin has been remarkably consistent, even in a Washington offense that has been anything but stable. His target share has fluctuated, especially when rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels took the reins, but his efficiency has skyrocketed in recent years. In 2024, he caught over 70% of his targets, averaging nearly 9.4 yards per target, and scored an impressive 13 touchdowns. That's a level of production that can change a game, especially when paired with the right quarterback and offensive scheme. And it's worth noting that, historically, Mclaurin has never had more than 7 touchdowns in a season until last year, which signals a potential for even more if he lands in a more dynamic offense. Now, for fantasy football managers, this is a goldmine. McLaurin's consistency and high target volume make him a valuable asset, but just imagine what could happen if he joined the Steelers. With Rodgers at quarterback, who's known for his precision and ability to read defenses, McLaurin could see an uptick in targets, especially on those contested catches down the sideline. His route-running ability, combined with the threat posed by Metcalf stretching defenses vertically, could open up a ton of opportunities for him to eat defenses alive. And consider that Metcalf might be the best receiver McLaurin has ever played alongside. The chemistry between those two could develop quickly, and the Steelers' offensive line, which has been improving, would give Rodgers the time he needs to find his new playmakers. But here's where reality hits. The Steelers are in a delicate position. They've been accumulating draft capital over the past several months, and that's not by accident. They've got their eyes set on the future, perhaps even planning to move up in next year's draft for a franchise quarterback if one becomes available. Giving up a first-round pick for McLaurin might seem like a win-now move, but it could also compromise their long-term plans. Pittsburgh's management has shown a willingness to be aggressive, but they're also strategic. Trading away a future first-rounder, especially when they already parted with a second-round pick this offseason to acquire Metcalf, could be a tough pill to swallow if they're serious about upgrading at quarterback. And that's why, despite how tempting a McLaurin addition might seem, it's probably unlikely they'll make that move. That doesn't mean it's impossible, but it's more of a pipe dream at this point. The Steelers have been linked to other potential trades, especially involving tight ends like Jonnu Smith or Kyle Pitts, but those moves wouldn't come close to the value needed to land McLaurin. Still, the idea of having McLaurin in black and gold is tantalizing. It would immediately elevate the Steelers' offense to new heights and give Kenny Pickett, or whoever ends up under center, a bona fide weapon on the outside. Now, thinking about what this means for the entire AFC North, it's pretty clear that the division is getting even more competitive. The Ravens are always lurking with Lamar Jackson's dual-threat ability, and Cincinnati keeps building around Joe Burrow. The Steelers adding a star like McLaurin would be a bold statement. They'd be saying, "We're here to contend, and we're not backing down." It's that kind of move that can shift the division's power dynamics, especially if Pittsburgh manages to keep their draft capital and still make a splash in free agency or trades. So, while a McLaurin to Pittsburgh trade looks unlikely at this moment, it's a fascinating scenario to consider. It sparks debates among fans and analysts alike. How much is too much to give up? Could McLaurin thrive in the Steelers' system? Would he be the missing piece that finally pushes them over the top? The truth is, the NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and the Steelers are no strangers to bold moves. Their recent history shows a team willing to take risks to win now, but also with a clear eye on the future. They've built a roster that's versatile, young in some spots, veteran-laden in others, and hungry for success. In the end, whether they pursue McLaurin or not, what's undeniable is that the Steelers are positioning themselves for a competitive run. They've got talented players, a Hall of Fame-caliber quarterback, and a coaching staff that's proven to adapt and innovate. And as fans, we should be excited about what's ahead. The AFC North is shaping up to be one of the most exciting divisions in recent memory, and Pittsburgh is right in the thick of it. The potential moves, the draft, the upcoming season, everything is aligning for a storyline that could define the franchise for years to come. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think the Steelers should go all in and try to trade for McLaurin? Would you give up a first-round pick to get a proven receiver like him? Or do you believe they should stick to their draft strategy and build through the young talent they already have? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news. This offseason promises a lot of excitement, and we're here to cover it all with you, the best fans in the NFL.